Hey, what's going on, my friends? Today we are gonna do a follow-up to my last video where I showed you guys, I went through the actual steps, the process of calling up Capital One for a credit limit increase. Well, today I'm gonna show you or share with you my results, but also go over the eligibility that they have listed here on their website so that you guys actually will, kind of have a good sense right here off the rip if you will be able to get an increase or not. Of course, this isn't the definitive, the all-inclusive decision. This is just kind of their guide and kind of pointers and tips that will help you with being able to gauge if you think that you'll be able to get an increase or not. So first off the top, you can see down here, number one, it says, are all Capital One cards eligible for a credit line increase? Some accounts aren't eligible for increased credit lines upon request. Accounts that are usually ineligible, that are not eligible, are new accounts opened within the past several months. Our secured credit cards have received a credit line increase or decrease over the past several months. Even if your account does not meet either of these criteria, a credit line increase may still be declined for other reasons. Now, when I look at this and I go through all of these requirements here, I'm like, okay, my account, new accounts opened within the past several months. Check. Our secured credit cards? Check. Have received a credit line increase or decrease over the past several months? Well, technically, yeah, I think I can say check. Check. And then number two, what factors determine if I'm eligible for a credit line increase? You make on-time payments with all creditors, and you make larger monthly payments that pay down your balance. All right. So if you kind of can look at those and say, yeah, I make on-time payments with all my creditors, check. And you make larger monthly payments that pay down your balance. I don't have a balance, so check. So let's keep it moving over into the approved requests. So what will happen when I submit my request? All right. When you submit your request, we'll review your information. In some cases, we can provide a decision immediately. However, in many cases, we need to review certain information, and that may take up to 30 days. Okay. So potentially could take up to 30 days. I made my video, my live video, me calling up Capital One for a credit line increase. And I posted that video, like I said, within the past 30 days for certain. It's been about 2 weeks. And I did receive, the results from them a few days ago. So actually for me, it was less than 2 weeks, probably more like a week at most. Now you might be wondering, when will my new credit line be available if you get approved? If approved, your new credit line is available immediately. So I might potentially have access to a lot more money. We're talking about that OPM, baby. And lastly, it says, can I request a credit line increase for a different Capital One credit card account? And yes, if you are signed into your account, you can request a credit line increase online by choosing the request credit line increase link from the services tab if you haven't enrolled in online servicing yet. And lastly, if you are declined, right? If you're declined request, you might be wondering, when can I make another request for a credit line increase? You may request a credit line increase anytime you like. However, we can't guarantee that you'll be approved in the future, even if you address the decline reasons listed in the letter we sent you. So that's tough. They're saying, hey, we ain't guarantee you. You might fix that one issue that we said is a problem if you are declined, and we still might not approve you. So keep that in mind. Number two, what can I do to have a better chance of being approved for a credit line increase in the future? Well, while we can't guarantee a future credit line increase, there are some things you can do to improve your chances. Pay on time every month, set up payment due alerts to help out. Make more than your minimum monthly payment, pay down your balance more quickly, and use tools like autopay to keep you on track. Keep all your accounts in good standing, and keep your employment and income information up to date. The reasons in your letter were factors used to determine your eligibility for a credit line increase, so fixing them may improve your chances for a future increase. We can't guarantee approval, but you're welcome to request an increase anytime. Requesting a a credit line increase from Capital One does not impact your credit score. All right. That is one of the beautiful things with Capital One. And what are the most common reasons credit line increase requests are declined? Your Capital One account is too new. It kind of speaks for itself. You just got to keep all of your accounts in good standing, pay on time, and ultimately keep your usage low. They're not going to say it anywhere on here, but keep it below 10% is what is a really good rule of thumb, because as you go over that, you're probably going to start to be more mindful, but you definitely don't want to break 30, right? 10% is like aim for that, but if you happen to break it, it might happen, but that's when you know it's like, all right, I think of it as like, start to notice, okay, wait, one of my cards aren't being paid off in full every month. Hold on, what's going on? And so, yeah, and you might even look at it like you do that at 5%. Like if you're at pay it in full every month, and then if you get to 5%, it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? There has recently been a change to the credit line on this account. And what that means is, in general, we don't change an account's credit line more often than every 6 months, but that can vary based on account. So what can you do? Well, please wait several months after your last credit line change before requesting a credit line increase. And then this Capital One account was recently past due. You recently either missed a payment or made a late payment on your account. Generally, we don't approve credit line increase requests on accounts that have missed or made a late payment in the last 12 months. The longer your account was past due, the longer you need to wait to be eligible to receive a credit line increase. Ultimately, maintain paying everything on time, having good history, try to, at least pay that minimum amount due every month. And you just got to kind of wait it out. But yeah, that's kind of brutal there. They're letting you know, though, the longer your account was past due, the longer you need to wait. So don't slip up is the point there. Your average monthly payment has been too low. You're carrying a balance and not making large enough monthly payments to qualify for a credit line increase. Both the payment history and the amount of your payments help us to determine if your account qualifies for a credit line increase. Generally, if you make substantially more than your minimum monthly payment on time for 3 months, you can reapply for a credit line increase. Recently, usage of this account's existing credit line has been too low. In general, customers who are most often approved for credit line increases tend to use more of their credit line, either by spending and paying off the card each month, or by keeping a balance on the account and paying it over a period of time. If you plan to use your card more, make sure you use your card responsibly. And that aligns with everything else that we're pretty much reading here. So there's a pattern that you guys might notice or may have noticed. The credit reporting agency has reported a recent credit delinquency. Your credit report shows you've recently paid one or more creditors late. Generally, we don't approve requests for a credit line increases on accounts that have had late payments in the last 12 months. The story, the solution, it's not really that difficult. Pay on time, at least pay the minimum balance, try to pay in full, use your card, and you have to wait some time until, after you got it. Like those are kind of the principles that we can say you can sum up based off of all of these reasons why you may have been denied and what you can do to help improve your chances in the future. The last one here, it says, is your current credit score is too low. Basically, I don't even have to read those, it speaks for itself. Your credit score is too low. They're like, hey, you got to show us a little something that you're worthy of it, because we don't feel that you are as reliable as we would like you to be to give you access to more money, other people's money, OPM, So for us to give you other people's money, we're willing to do it, but just get your credit score up a little higher. That will make you look more reliable. So all of that said, I bet you guys are like, man, we came here to hear what happened with your credit limit increase requests from Capital One. We watched the other video. We heard you listen to the automated machine and stuff, and that caught you off guard. And what happened? Did you get approved or not? My friends, unfortunately, I did not get approved. They declined me, and we actually hit one of these topics, one of these responses that the letter says right on the head, right? Hit that nail right on the head. So as you guys can see, it says, Dear Adam Spencer, you recently requested a credit line increase for your Capital One account. Unfortunately, your account isn't eligible right now. We know this isn't the answer you were hoping for, and we want to help you understand why. The answer why is they give you a nice little bullet point, nice and clear. You can't get it confused or mixed up with anything else in here. It's like on its own little island. I like that. They're just like, this is the reason why. Recent usage of this account's existing credit line has been too low. In other words, I'm not spending enough with this card. When we jump back over here and they said, what are the most common reasons? I know it's like, it's crazy up in here. Like call like ambulance, call it's emergencies up in here because I should have got approved. I'm sure many of you guys out there like me too. I was declined to forget Capital One. That's why I make videos sharing Chase, and I'll be sharing other videos like Citi, Wells Fargo, American, like, man, Capital One. Nah, I'm just kidding, my friends. I'm just kidding. I do appreciate Capital One because they have really been a fundamental component of helping me build up my credit score to where it is today. And, before we dive into anything else off topic, well, Capital One, like I said, they literally told me this is going to be potentially one of the reasons why you might get denied. You aren't the only one. These are some of the most common reasons why you are denied. Recent usage of this account's existing credit line has been too low. It literally said that word for word in the letter to me. And as I mentioned, in general, customers who are most often approved for credit line increases tend to use more of their credit line either by spending and paying off the card each month or by keeping a balance on the account and paying it over a period of time. In other words, if you pay your card in full every month, they're not going to give you an increase unless you're using it a lot. Now, I literally have this account set up with like my Spotify account and maybe one or two other like subscriptions, and maybe I use it every once in a while, like if my usage on other like popular cards that I use, primarily like my Chase cards because of those reward points, which I have videos on those. If you haven't checked them out, check them out down below. Well, I want to keep my utilization low. I don't want to break 10% on any card. So I may have to use other cards in order to do so. That is pretty much the extent of my usage with my Capital One card. So for that reason, they're saying, hey, you don't spend enough money. You don't use us. Why should we give you a credit limit increase when you're not even using like half of what we give you access to every month? Even a third of it, maybe. No, not even a third. Not even 10% of it. I'm sticking with my rule of thumb, in which maybe if I even got to 10%, maybe that would help. So I guess the question really is going to come down to, I wonder what percentage of, your utilization you have to meet to get Capital One to give you an increase if you're someone who does, pay it in full every month. Because they're telling you, they literally said, either by spending and paying off the card each month or keeping a balance on your account. I don't want to keep a balance on my account because I don't want to have to pay the interest. And I would use it more, but then I lose out on the benefit of getting reward points from other cards that, who wouldn't want 5%, 3%, 2%, 1.5% points? One is nice, but all of those are higher, are better. So, and I can't even remember. I got to confirm exactly what the reward points are on all of my Capital One, what the highest ones are. But yeah, I think Chase kind of kills it compared to Capital One in that department. So I'm more inclined to use those cards. For that reason, I was declined. But hey, if you are making a conscious effort of trying to get a credit increase from Capital One, you can kind of just take a hit on the reward points for a few months, in which you can just spend the money that you usually would spend on those other cards here. Make sure you continue to pay it in full. As I said, you don't need to always keep a balance. That's one of the ways. But if you do start to spend more, of course, continue to pay it off in full and you'll be good. But you just want to spend more is the key. I'm literally 2-3 small subscriptions, $20, $50, $100 a month at most. Yeah, they're like, you want an increase from $4,500 when you only spend $100 at most. So I thought maybe me getting my credit score to where it is would make it like a guarantee, but that doesn't matter, right? That doesn't matter. So it's kind of tricky, but ultimately it comes down to what you are focused on, what your goals are, what you're trying to do. If I really wanted to get an increase with Capital One, I could, but it's not that much of a priority for me. I do want to have access to more money under my personal account, my credit lines and credit cards and whatnot. It would be great, to be, I think right now I'm at like 60,000 or 65 or 61 or something like that thousand. I want to get to 100,000. I don't use nowhere near as much of my credit card, access to credit cards that I have, but the goal is to get it to be a higher amount than my utilization, where even if I'm aiming for 10% or 30%, is going to still be drastically higher than someone who has access to a smaller amount of money but is using, more or less, it doesn't really matter at that point because they have, again, access to a smaller amount of money. So, it all depends really what your goal is, what you're trying to do. In my case, yeah, I would have wanted to get an increase from them, but it's not my biggest priority right now. My credit score is pretty high. It's the highest it's ever been, actually. So, I've put in a lot of hard work, and obviously getting to this point has worked, doing what I've done. So I'm not going to change that just to get a couple $1,000 more from Capital One, especially if I can just go and get a new card from another bank who will give me probably more money and give me better rewards, right? Plus bonus rewards to sign up and whatnot too. So it's like a kind of a no-brainer, but we'll see. I don't know. I guess it depends what card I decide to go after next. What do you guys think? What card should I apply for next? Comment down below with your thoughts and let me know what you guys think about Capital One and this whole credit increase situation. Did you apply? Did you get approved, or were you denied? If you were denied, was it one of these, answers here, one of these examples that they're saying your letter might say? I'm curious to hear how many other people also fall into the same category as me when it comes to not spending enough. If your usage, or not usage, but just if you're not spending enough, literally, that's the only issue. Otherwise, everything else was good to go on your end, but they were just like, nope, you don't spend enough. We want to see you spend at least 50%. I don't know. Again, I wish they can tell me exactly how much they would want me to spend. And then I can be like, all right, I can allocate the right funds to go there for 2 or 3 months, 6 months. Maybe I'll take a hit from Chase if they're going to hook up a brother. You take care of me, I'll take care of you. But they didn't want to give me all that sauce. They ain't trying to give me all the details. So I guess it is what it is. But my friends, much appreciation for watching. Feel free to comment down below with your thoughts. Like I said, did you get approved? Were you denied? What do you think about my situation? And of course, if you guys want to stay up on the latest tips and tricks and just other grants, loans, and credit cards that might help you on a personal or on a business level, well, consider checking out this video next. Peace.